Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. My name is Cindy D. Whitmer, and I am the Midlife Makeover Coach, helping you turn your midlife into your best life, one step at a time. Through powerful conversations, my own midlife roller coaster story, and over 3 decades of helping people transform their lives through counseling and coaching, I am on a mission to help you create your own definition of success and happiness. Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. Thank you so much for choosing to be with me. I know you have a lot of great choices out there, but I do applaud you for being a part of the Life Makeovers podcast because this is where we really try to make over our lives to make them the best that they can be. And I am on a continuous path with this myself. And so I'm on a mission to help other people get there as well. So it is a constant exchange and we're working together on this. And today I want to talk about the concept of having radically healthy relationships, because some say the quality of our relationships really creates the quality of our lives, because of course people are so important to us, right? And our relationship with ourselves is so important to us. Well, I talk about 9 qualities of radically healthy relationships, but today I just want to focus in really in great detail on one, and that is what I call total acceptance. Total acceptance, okay, of other people, and this creating higher quality relationships. Now, you might really feel resistant to that phrase, total acceptance. I understand. I resist it myself, even in my life right now, this week, today, probably. Before the day is done, I probably will. But it is a wonderful idea that is life changing. So let's just dive deeper in this and kind of get behind the idea of it and see where we can take this in our lives at least another step forward. Even if we don't think, oh, I could never accept everybody totally, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's not give up yet. Let's get started. So first of all, the definition I found of acceptance is the ability to see that others have a right to be their own unique persons and to their own feelings, thoughts, and opinions. You let go of your desire to change them. Woo, woo. Oh my goodness. So I want you to be thinking as we talk about this and go along with this some more about what people you've wanted to change in your life, over the years, and in midlife, in this stage of your life, who are you wanting to change? Who are you wishing would change? Maybe it's your kids or one of your kids. Maybe it's your grandkids. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's your sister or your brother or your parents, or who knows who it is. Maybe it's somebody that you, run an organization with, a nonprofit organization with. But just think about that. Usually the closer knit we are with people, the more we have that temptation and that desire to change some aspect of them. So get really honest with yourself here as I move through this, and ask yourself, gosh, who do I want to change? Who do I wish would be different in this way or whatever? So in a relationship, totally accepting someone means you can value and tolerate your differences. You can disagree without criticism, okay? And of course, you can leave a relationship or put stronger boundaries around a relationship if it is just too much, if the differences are just, and feel unhealthy to you or whatever. So a long time ago, it's been a long time. I left Iowa in 2006. So that's been, oh my goodness, over 18 years ago when I left Iowa. And one of my really good friends there, her name is Cheryl, and she's deceased now, but she went to the same church I did, and we were really close friends, and she was married to a gentleman who is of another religion. And they raised a son and everything, and were married forever until she died and all this stuff. But I remember one day asking her, and her husband was also a workaholic, and but a great guy. I mean, this guy, I got to tell you, his name is Jim, and he went to law school at like in his 70s. He was a professor at the university there, University of Northern Iowa. And I asked him once, I mean, I loved this guy. And I asked him once, I said, "Why, so why law school and why now?" And he said, "I'm going to law school for enlightenment." And I thought, oh my gosh, I read a book for enlightenment. Like, you're going 3 years of law school and you're in your 70s and you're working full time. You have this whole other life going on, whatever. Wow. Kudos to you, Jim. Law school for enlightenment. Well, anyway, so that tells you a little bit about Jim. I mean, he was this driven person, his head in the books all the time, plus he worked full time, plus he was Catholic, and she was of a very different denomination religiously and so forth. And yet they had this great relationship. And I said, "What's the secret, Cheryl? What's the secret?" And she said, "Our secret is we totally accept each other." And I was like, you know, whoosh, right? My head just exploded. Oh my gosh, duh, right? It seems so obvious, doesn't it? But it doesn't mean it's easy to do. But that was their secret of their long lasting, loving relationship, despite their many differences and approaches to life and philosophy and religion and everything, work, all kinds of things. So I've always remembered that conversation. And thank you, Cheryl. I miss you. Okay, so here are some points to consider when you think about, you know, uh, attempting to totally accept the people in your life. Number one, oh, you're gonna just, I don't know. The number one way to be more accepting of other people is, guess what? To be more accepting of yourself. Okay, so there we go. We bump into the first barrier to accepting other people. And that is, of course, accepting yourself, which women, I know you tend to be so hard on yourselves. Most of you that I know, especially in midlife, you're like really picking on yourself because either you think your body's not okay, or you're not enough, or you have all these regrets, or things you think you've done wrong in your life, or you think you're aging too fast and it's all downhill, or it's on and on and on and on and on and on, how you pick on yourself. And so if you do nothing else in life, seriously, from this point on, please, 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 please work on nurturing your own relationship with yourself and work on accepting yourself. Okay, because look around. I mean, not that I want you to look around to compare yourself to others, but the value of doing that is for all of us to recognize, gosh, we're all just doing the best we can. We're all just living our lives the best we can with what we know. And yeah, and we're all different. Like, I'll never forget this time. I was sitting in a group of about 12 people in this group I'm involved with in town here, group of friends I just love to death. And we're kind of a discussion group. And there were 12 of us sitting around in a circle one day. And we were talking about, accepting our bodies. Okay. I think it was all women in this group. If not, there was maybe one person there that's non-binary. And we were talking about what is the perfect body. And we looked around at just the 12 of us. I mean, not the 7-8 billion on earth, just the 12 of us here in Lawrence, Kansas at the time. And we had tall people, short people, really muscular, strong people, people that, would label themselves overweight, people that were, just every size, right? And then we had a wide range of ages and signs of physical signs of aging, varicose veins, wrinkles, gray hair, some with no gray hair, some with totally gray hair, some with sagging, necks or chin skin there, some with, just every, you know, some with brown spots on their skin, some with, we, it was just there was every difference you can imagine in just 12 people. And we were like, which body is the perfect body? Which one? Which is it? Is it tall, thin, so and so? Is it short, thin, so and so? Is it mid height, muscular gal? Is it, who has is it the one that doesn't have any gray hair? Is it the one, you know, it's just like, wow, people, there is no such thing, or else we all are, right? So that was just with 12 people. So that's just one aspect of accepting ourselves, accepting your bodies, which I know I've been on a path of this myself, and I really, and I bump up against it at times where I go, ugh, maybe I should lose weight, or ooh, maybe I should be different this way. But you know what? I'm getting closer and closer to really just loving myself as I am and not concerning myself with the details of changing. But anyway, so accept yourself, accept all of you, what you consider the best parts of you, what you consider the areas for growth that you have. The past is the past and it's yours. Accept it. Your day is now, and make it a day that feels, wonderful to you. So I'm kind of babbling, I think. But number one, really, in your journey of totally accepting other people, is accepting yourself, because you're only going to be able to accept others to the level that you are willing and able to accept yourself. So that's why it's very important to keep growing that acceptance of yourself if you really want to incorporate the quality of total acceptance in your relationships with other people. Okay, number two. When I read this, I kind of go, ouch. So not accepting others means we are judgmental. Which means I am judgmental sometimes, right? Because I don't always accept someone exactly as they are every time. I don't. And so then I'm being judgmental, and so are you. And so, like, oh boy. So is that what we want to be? It's not that's not who I want to be in the world. Definitely not. And so, yeah, that's another way to look at it, which is very inspiring to me to get better and better at this. Number three, when we want to be right, we must make somebody else wrong. Okay, so when you want to be right, you've got to be able to make somebody else wrong. So, one of the things to ask yourself is, do you know everything about every situation? No, you don't. And neither do I. None of us do. No one does, even when they think they do. I have some people in my life who I think might think they know everything. Do you? And of course now, and then I judge them for that. So then I'm not accepting. See the little slippery slope this can be. But really, if you want to be right about something and you think that is important, I've got to prove I'm right about this, then you've got to prove that someone is wrong, and then you're not accepting them, right? No, or I'm not accepting them. So that's something, that wrong, that need to be right and make somebody else wrong is a divisive approach in any situation or relationship. And a gentler way to go about that is, oh, they think about it this way. I think about it that way. Or I would handle it this way, but they want to handle it that way. So we have different approaches. We have different ideas. How can we come together in the best way, right? Where can we find our balance in that? All right, number 4, non-acceptance is seen through the negative lens, right? Really seeing the negativity with the negativity lens. So you're looking for what's wrong with someone, and you're looking for where they're inadequate in your perspective, where they're off path, whatever it is, their own imperfections, whatever it is that you're not accepting, that is a negative view of someone else. And what we want to do is look for the positive in someone or something at all times, because believe it or not, it is there. There is something positive. I would challenge you to address this in your life. There are many things that are positive in any situation or any person on earth. Okay. Now, you might be like, what about, what about, what about? And it's like, you know what? You decide. I'm not going to decide for you, but I'm saying this is the path to greater health and happiness in your relationships and in your life, is getting there and recognizing that when you're not accepting somebody, you are indeed judging them. And it is a negative energy to be living in, which doesn't serve anyone, least of all you. Okay. And I am bound and determined for you to be happy in midlife and for the rest of your life. And so this is part of it. So always be looking. If all you see is something negative about someone, look deeper, look further, peel back another layer to find what could be positive about that person, or something you're experiencing with them. Number 5, here's another point to consider. You know what it's like to be judged and not accepted. You know this. We've all experienced rejection. We've all been scolded about something that we weren't great at, or that somebody thought was not appropriate that we said or did. We've all been attacked for something by someone somewhere. This is a universal experience, and it never feels good, right? Never. Have you ever felt judged or not accepted and felt good in that moment? Of course not. No one does. So, in the interest of that, do we want to create more of that experience in the world or less of that experience in the world? I, for one, want to create less of that experience in the world, for sure. Like, I don't want to add to the turmoil in the world. I don't want to add to the tension in the world. I don't want to add to the negativity bias in the world. Not at all. I want to offset it. So part of what I can do and you can do is we can get better and better and better at approaching people, and everything about them with a more positive bias, and notice that and focus on those things, because what we focus on, again, expands. We want to look for the good, and we'll expand it by focusing on it. Okay. So I have a confession, and I think I've confessed this before on this podcast. I know I have in my coaching groups. But anyway, that is that in my first marriage, yes, I am on my second one. Hopefully it's the last one. But in my first marriage, I judged my husband profusely. I mean, I did not accept him for who he was in many, many ways. There were many things I loved and appreciated about him. Many things I praised him for and thanked him for, and affirmed all the time. But I'll tell you what, there was also this ongoing laundry list of things I was not happy about, that I did not like about him, that I wanted him to change. And ironically, one of my greatest criticisms of him was him criticizing me. Now, do you see the absurdity of this? Do you see the cycle of negativity that we created in that relationship? Because I was judging him and he was judging me, and I was judging him for judging me, which is me judging him. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, there was so much judgment flying around in that marriage. No wonder we ended up divorced. And that brings me to another point. When we criticize other people or we simply disapprove of them consistently, that is toxicity in a relationship, and it can break relationships apart. It can break them down completely. It can ruin relationships. So you want to think carefully, my friends, about whether you want a relationship to last or not. Whether it's a friendship, it's a business partnership, it's a lover or a partner or spouse, whether it's relationships with your children, your grown adult children. What do they want? They want your acceptance, right? You don't have to agree with every decision everybody in your life makes, including your adult children. I mean, my beloved husband and I have 5 kids between us. And with spouses, partners, and grandkids, there's 10 of them. And do we agree with every decision and every action and everything they say or do? Of course we don't. But we don't, we don't outwardly criticize, or we just sit back and go, okay, they're doing what they feel is best for them, or this is their path. And who are we to say what's best for them? They need to make these decisions. They're adults, blah, 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 blah. And so we just ride with them. We ride along through life with them and love them and want to know them and stick close to them as best as we can, and, all of that. So why? Because the big picture is we want to be in their lives for the long haul. Okay, so who do you want in your life for the long haul? What friends do you want to keep? What relationships do you want to truly nurture? What family members are ultimately extremely important to you? What relationships do you want to take care of very delicately? One of the best ways you can is to drop any judgment that you can and accept them totally as they are. So again, acceptance is a game changer. Now I want you to just do a little activity for a second. I want you to think about 3 people in your life who have really accepted you unconditionally in your life. 3 people. If you can think of 3, that's great. Think about that. So get these people in your mind where you felt just, and maybe it was in the past, maybe these people are no longer alive. Like for me, one of the groups of people I think of are my grandparents. I just felt totally 100% accepted around them, all the time, just all the time. And so I want you to think about, though, who are your people that you have felt unconditional love from and acceptance? And how do you feel in their presence, or how did you feel in their presence? Just connect with that for a second. For me, some words that come up for me as I think about being in the presence of my grandparents, where I felt total acceptance and unconditional love, I felt calm. I felt really loved. And I felt such joy in their presence, belief and in myself, and relief. Like being in the presence was a relief. It was like, okay, the pressure's off. I can just be me, and it's a-okay. There's no one to impress here. I am just myself. Hallelujah. Thank goodness, right? And I feel that way about my girlfriends too. I have a close knit bunch of girlfriends who it's just a relief to be around them, because I just go, hey, here I am, whatever. I might look great or I might not look great. I might feel great. I might not feel great. I might be nice. I might be, venting some stress. And, but I'm just me. And there they are, just rolling with me. And it's so great. It's such a feeling of emotional safety. It's such a relief that there are spaces and relationships in the world that we have where we feel accepted just as we are. Like it's a come as you are party all the time when you're with these people. And it's a safety and it's a calmness, and it's just a wonderful thing. Well, that's what you can give others as well. You can be that space for other people. You can be that landing spot for people, anybody in your life, whether you know them well or you know them barely. You can be that space for people where they just go, oh, when I'm around her, I feel so good. I feel good about who I am. I feel loved. I feel cared for. I feel accepted. And it's a wonderful energy to provide another person. And it is life changing. It really, really is. So remember that acceptance harbors authenticity. It harbors authenticity. Like I was saying a moment ago, it's such a relief when it feels safe and easy and wonderful and accepted to be your authentic self. And don't you want to know people from their own space of authenticity? If you really want to know people from their space of authenticity, then provide a safe emotional space for them to land in your universe, and they can be themselves and you can really actually know them for who they are, because acceptance harbors authenticity. It also encourages empowerment. When we accept ourselves and others, that's very empowering. It's uplifting. It's encouraging. It's like, okay, you can do anything. You can do anything, because if you have a dream, you have a desire within you, that means you have the ability to bring it into the world, right? And one of the ways, one of the fuels that will help you bring something in the world is true acceptance for just you as you, from yourself and from others. So we want to encourage empowerment. Uh, Acceptance also invites creativity. It kind of frees up the soul in someone to be creative, to really let loose of those creative juices and manifest whatever ideas they have, try new things, bring into the world what they uniquely have to offer, so we all grow and expand from it. And then acceptance, of course, opens doors too. When you accept other people, you don't know the ripple effect that that's going to bring. You don't know what doors are going to open for you in new relationships, new opportunities, maybe even jobs, maybe even ways to serve that really excite you, or experiences you'll be invited into because people are enjoying you so much because they feel so free and loved around you. So acceptance can really open doors. Now, just to circle back around a little bit, because I know part of what you're thinking there listening to me all this time is, do we have to accept all the crappy stuff about a person? Or what if they treat us poorly? What if it's does that mean are you trying to tell us to accept poor treatment? Are you trying to tell us to accept disrespect? Are you trying to tell us to accept abusive behavior? And of course, no, I am not. Right? But behavior in people and the essence of who they are two different things. We can accept people and wish them the best and not agree with their behavior, and not even put up with poor treatment. Of course, I don't want you to do that, and I don't want to do that in my relationships either. So what do we do about this? So when you cannot live with differences in a relationship with someone, and this again, or if you're living with them, if you're married to them, if you're in a friendship with them, you're working with them side by side, you're whatever you're doing, running an organization together, you're in your family system, whatever it is. When you feel like you can't live with differences, here's some tips. You can still accept them. You can still accept them for who they are and accept the role they have in your life. Like, oh, this is my sister. I accept her. I don't agree with her. I don't get it. I don't understand her. And I'm not going to tolerate her treating me poorly, but I do accept her and she's my sister. Okay, or whatever, that kind of thing. You can send love to people in your mind all the time, even if you disagree with them, even if you're thinking, oh my gosh, their life is a car crash. Why are they doing this again to themselves? Or why are they treating everybody rotten? Or what is with them? You can send love, send love, send love, send love. Many spiritual texts teach that every act in a person is either an act of love or a call for love. So when people are behaving in toxic ways or abusive ways, or they seem out of control emotionally and so forth, you can accept them as people and accept their poor behavior as a call for love. So send them love, even if in your mind, just even if in your prayers or your heart or in your energy, send them love. And then number three, another option is to release them from your life. You may need to release some people from your life. You can accept who they are. Like, let's say you have an alcoholic that is someone who keeps drinking or keeps living in the addiction cycle in their life. And there's somebody in your family, you love them and you accept them, but you can't keep participating in that addiction spiral. You can't keep giving them money, or you can't keep saving them from themselves again, or getting them off the street again, or giving them a job that they don't do again, or whatever you're trying to do, or the behavior that's just horrible, a symptom of the addiction, right? When they are under the influence of things that are toxic and so forth. You may need to minimize contact, like put up strong boundaries in some of your relationships. Or you may need to release them completely and say, I release them from my life. I give them love. I send love. I accept that they are who they are. Like, this is their reality. This is their life choice right now. This is where they're at. I accept them. I love them, and I release them. Those can happen together. Total acceptance and releasing people can happen at the same time. As a matter of fact, I think that's part of what, I don't want to say, I guess, helped me finally leave my first marriage. Was I accepted that my husband was who he was. Like, he was not willing to change. He didn't think he needed to change. He wasn't interested in change. And I didn't know how to live with his choices, his behavior, his approaches with me. I just didn't know how to do it and remain healthy myself and not like lose myself in the whole process. And so I finally accepted, instead of resisting, because what I was doing was resisting. I was like, no, he can do better, or we can do better, or this could be different, or we can find another way, or we can work this out, or we can blah, 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 blah. All this resistance, this drive to make it different, make it different, make it different, make it different. And then I realized, okay, I can't make it different by myself enough to make it okay for me and make it what I believe my definition of a healthy relationship is. And so I accepted him. It's like, okay, you are you. I accept you. I love you, and I release you. And so I left him and divorced him. And so that is sometimes what direction it needs to go. And it can be your family. It can be a workplace environment because of someone you work with. It can be any scenario whatsoever. Okay, it's your choice. And then the last one, you can live without them. You can live on without them and without regret at the same time. So if that choice level becomes, I accept them and I release them, or I accept them and I put up really strong boundaries around how much time, energy, whatever I'm going to put into these relationships, you can live on. You can keep going in your life without regret, because you are still accepting them and accepting yourself in those dynamics, right? I hope this makes sense. So acceptance does not mean, okay, I'll go along with whatever. And even if it hurts me repeatedly, I'll go on along with it forever because I need to totally accept this person. Again, remember, behavior is one thing and a person is a person. And so acceptance is, I accept them for who they are and how they show up. And I can stay in relationships with most people, but not everybody necessarily. And that is still okay. All right, so I want you to now, I challenge you as I wrap this up to go back and go, Okay, where am I not accepting myself? Take a look, find out where that is, that you're not accepting yourself, and find a way to begin to accept yourself. What would have to happen for you to accept yourself in this area that you're thinking of, or these areas where you're falling short in acceptance of yourself, and figure out, how can I give myself grace? What new story can I tell to myself about myself that gives me grace, that helps me accept myself and love myself enough that now I can branch out into the other players in my life, the other relationships I have, and look at, where am I not accepting them? Where am I not accepting them? And how can what do I need to do to rearrange that experience in a way that feels healthy to me, feels fair, and offers grace to all the people in my life, and helps me to identify where I might need some different boundaries than I've had up until now. Okay, so excuse me, to make midlife the best it can be, and to, skyrocket into your aging as you keep going into the next phase of your life, one of the best ways to really feel happy and do well is to find acceptance for yourself and for others, and make decisions accordingly in what feels healthy to you. So I hope this was helpful. And I surely, love being a part of your lives and want you to feel happy and healthy in midlife and beyond. It is possible for you. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you, I promise. And if I can serve you in any way in getting you there faster, I would love to support you. So please go to my website, cindydwhitmer.com, and see what options there are for you there to go deeper and find out more, and get more support. So thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Life Makeovers podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with those that you think would also benefit from what we're doing here. And I will talk to you again soon.